1, 2, 3, respect the game.
Welcome to ONV Respect the Game podcast. What's going on, everybody?
What's up?
What's up?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy to be here today.
Thank you for coming out here 2024. We're going to start out with a bright future going on with our guests here today. Let's enjoy this and let's sit back and learn some things today.
Yes.
How we doing today?
We good.
We doing great.
Miss Smith.
Miss Smith, how you doing, man?
I'm awesome.
I'll say, give her a proper introduction. We got a
Smith
Hall of
Jones.
Famer sitting here.
There we go. There
Hall
we
of
go.
Famer sitting here.
No, I ain't got it. I ain't got him.
This is the finest agent out of Fort Wayne that I don't know how many females are in the game,
Right.
but this is a female sports agent that should be celebrated. You know, not only does she have an illustrious athletic career, she is putting it down for other athletes to fulfill their dreams.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
So
Give her flowers. There you go, Gigi. Introduce yourself.
I appreciate that as well. You know.
introduction for a queen. That's what we got.
There
sitting
you
here.
go.
Amen.
So give us a little background on your pro career, your track career, and everything.
For sure. So, born and raised here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Started playing basketball probably when I was like 3. Didn't really play AAU, so I was just going off of pure talent, really. Didn't start playing basketball like on a team until like I was in middle school. So didn't play organized basketball to middle school. Got to high school. WNBA was in my head. I'm like, all right, I'm about to go to the W. And then it was like, all right, never mind. So ended up started running track my freshman year in high school. Didn't know what track was.
Okay.
Didn't even know track was a thing.
Right.
All I knew was basketball. So started running track my freshman year. Actually was pretty good at it. Didn't know I was gonna be good at it. Went to facts. Went to state my junior and senior year. My junior year, I ended up placing 5th at states
In what?
in the 400.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And then from there, I ended up running in the Midwest Meet of Champions, which was like all the big track athletes who was like really good in the Midwest ran together.
Your junior and senior year?
Just my senior year. I think it was
Senior.
only for seniors, I think.
Okay.
And then from there, I ended up getting a scholarship to run at Indiana Tech, where I ran all 4 years and became a national champion.
Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Hall of Famers.
And then from there, I started my sports agency my senior year, Capture Sports Agency. Been doing that since 2015. And then I also coached track and field at Indiana Tech.
And won two
as well.
two national championships. How many did you win? You won an indoor recently?
You mean as a coach or as
Yes,
an athlete?
as a coach.
As a coach, I think I've won 3.
Yeah.
3.
Okay.
3 or 4
Okay.
maybe.
That's crazy.
So, yep,
Perfecting the game.
trying to.
You just outlined your athletic career, which is awesome. From 3rd grade basketball to Hall of Fame track career, national champion. Talk to us about your agency business, Capture Sports. How did you get off on that? Where did that come from?
Yeah, how did it get started?
I don't even know. I'm just gonna I'm gonna be honest. Like,
Is it just to wake
like-
up and I feel it?
I don't know. It was crazy. Like I said, when I was in high school, I thought I was gonna go to the WNBA, and it was like, no, you're not doing that. So then when I got to Tech, I'm thinking, I'm fast. I ran 56 in the 400. Like I'm up there,
Yeah.
So I get there, and I kid you not, all these people I was running against, they was running like zebras, and I was like, at this point. No, I ain't going to the Olympics. That's that's dead. So I had to start thinking early, like, what can I do?
It's still sports related.
Yeah, like what can I do in the sports industry that doesn't involve me being a professional athlete,
Right.
And it didn't dawn on me. Like I didn't even know what a sports agent was. I didn't know who Eugene was. I didn't get the opportunity to meet Eugene. Like none of that. So, it just popped up in my head. Like never knew what this was, and I'm like. What is this?
Right.
Got on LinkedIn, tried to find every sports agent I knew, found one. He gave me an internship down in Dallas where I could do a remote because I was still running track at Indiana Tech. So I was able to do that remotely, which was good because I learned, a lot of things and stuff like that. So,
Was this while you were a senior? You were doing this internship?
no, this was like my junior year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
my junior year in college. Because Eugene was still alive.
Yeah.
And I forget who gave me Eugene's number. I can't remember. But I kept trying to call him. I was texting him like, come on, man. Come on, please. Like, I'm really trying to get in. Like, somebody help me because I don't know.
Right.
So I was calling Eugene and Roosevelt, but I wasn't getting anything, like crickets. So I'm like, all right,
Time to
I
move
got to
on.
figure this out on my own.
Right.
So ended up getting that internship. Was there with them for like a year and a half. And then our professor, Craig Dyer, because he's a sports management professor, I was telling him about how I wanted to be a sports agent and everything else. And then he put me in contact with a lawyer who was an NFL agent who was a law professor at Indiana Tech.
Wow.
Wow.
So I ended up connecting with him, and I'm telling him, like, this is what I want to do. Like,
But you didn't really know the
Yeah,
map, roadmap,
yeah.
or anything. Wow.
So he was like, normally people tell me that they want to do this, and I can tell they're not serious about it. Like, they really just in it for the money, and they have no idea what's going on.
Right.
He's like, but with you, I feel your passion. I see your passion, and I see you want to do this. So I'm going to help you do it. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So then pretty much he helped me get my company registered with the state of Indiana. Like, he was like, search the name,
Knew nothing
see
about
if it's
registering a business
nothing.
or anything. Yeah, man.
So he's telling me all this stuff. He's walking through contracts with me, like, this is this, this is that. Like, you got to know this. And I'm like,
That's
oh,
crazy.
okay. So certain days I used to come after practice, meet with him in his office, and we just talk about stuff. Like, he'll be like, read this book or go look at this or look at this document or something like that. And that's what got me started with Capture Sports for the most part.
So when a young lady, how many women do you know in Fort Wayne that's a sports agent?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Or are you the only one?
I mean, I think Tiffany was one at one point.
Tiffany, yeah.
Tiffany.
I did
But
not
she
know
moved to
that.
Indy, right?
Yeah, so Tiffany was one. I don't know if she still is. But other than that, I think I'm the only one.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you have to like register every year? Is that kind of
So you do have to register in each state that you are recruiting in.
okay?
So there's a fee that you have to pay, and there's an application that you have to send in every year.
Oh wow.
And I heard, what was your original major? Or what was your major?
Sports management.
Sports, okay.
Yep.
Oh, so it kind of lined up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So being a sports agent, we was talking off the camera about the track area, which is your specialty. How is that working out for you?
Do sports in that?
So I'm trying to venture out into the track and field area as well as the NFL, or not the NFL, but college football area and stuff like that. But like you said, like we was talking offline, it's like it's that trust thing, right? So if people don't see that you're already representing that type of athlete, they're like,
What do you know about college football? Like,
Yeah,
why
yeah.
should we trust you?
yeah, something like that. So it's like now it's like you have to network and get yourself into those type of sports and stuff like that. But the thing with me is I coach track.
Yeah, right.
So,
So
that should be
yeah.
even easier to
Yeah, it should
leverage
be.
those people.
Yeah.
Especially you guys winning national championships
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Just seemed like that would be a easy task
Yeah.
for you to,
Yeah.
really have your clientele for
Yeah.
that.
So
that.
would you say that there are a lot of NIL deals for track athletes, like how college football has
I
them?
would say that'd be my
There's
question.
there's a lot of NIL deals for a lot of athletes, honestly.
Okay.
It's just how you present yourself and the opportunities that you go and get. Like a lot of times people don't know that there's NIL apps
Oh.
where you
Okay.
can go onto an app and you can apply for an NIL deal, and then you just gotta wait to hear back if you got it or not.
Oh, okay.
So break that down. What is an NIL deal? I mean, I hear that. What is an NIL deal?
So, I mean, the NIL deal is pretty much name, image, and likeness. So, a college athlete can get a NIL deal, which could be, for example, one of my clients, Diamond Johnson, got a Topps deal for like the Topps trading cards.
Okay.
So she got that deal, and pretty much it's just a partnership deal or a sponsorship or an endorsement or whatever the case may be. So that's pretty much what an NIL deal is. It's pretty much the endorsements part of it.
So I guess that's my point. So I'm endorsing the product. So why would somebody, I got an athlete, I'm from Manchester, versus I could sponsor somebody at the University of Texas. How I mean, you said you just go to this app. How many deals are there for somebody that's from a Indiana Tech, from a Manchester, from a St. Francis, versus a big university?
So it's different. It's not too different, but it's all based off of your social media following.
Right.
So the thing is, a company isn't going to go and, get you to do a deal if you have 500 followers, right? So if you have 500 followers and only 100 of those followers are engaging with your content, who are you really reaching?
Right.
So they see that, so they're like,
We're not going to get
nah, we're good. And even if you're like a bigger athlete, like say you're out of Texas, right? And let's say you got 20,000 followers, but only 2,000 people are engaging with your stuff. That's the same thing. So it's like you have 20,000 followers, but are they really following you? Are they really engaging with your content? Because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for people who are going to reach a certain amount of people,
Right.
and their product is going to get out there. And then once they do that, people are going to go and purchase that stuff. If they're not, then there's no point of partnering with this athlete.
So the pros and cons of an NIL deal is,
I mean, the pros is, a lot of these athletes get the opportunity to work on their marketing skills. Something that they're going to have to do later on in their life, regardless of where it is. So they get to work on their marketing skills, this, that, and the third. And then the only con is if you don't have the right leadership or the right guidance, you're going to run into a hole. You got to pay taxes. If somebody's not helping you learn how to pay your taxes, you're going to go into a hole.
So is that what agents do, kind of? Like,
so for the most part, just depends on what the agent is. Like for the most part, we'll just tell athletes certain things about their taxes, but we will have somebody who does taxes do their
like a
actual
special
taxes.
agent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
yeah, that's kind of deep as far as like people. You have to do your taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And you think you just gonna get that $100,000 and just get to spend it with no feedback on the revenue. What about the people moving on to different schools and stuff in the
Transfer portal.
And the transfer portal,
Yeah.
it's different. It's a different ball game.
Yeah,
But for the most part, the NCAA just got rid of
What?
the policy where if you're a two-time transfer, you have to sit a year. Now they're just letting them go,
yeah,
at least for the time being, which
how long
was
that lasts.
which was a plus.
yeah.
So other than that, it's not that bad, but a lot of schools have collectives, and collectives are really just your boosters and your alumni people who all come together, and they're trying to give money, trying to sign an athlete to give them money.
Right.
Like sometimes you'll see like somebody signs with a collective and it's like $50,000, or they're getting a car or whatever the case may be. It's through that collective.
All the stuff that used to be illegal.
Yeah. Yep. So, that's pretty much what the transfer portal is. Like, it's really not too much, but you see a lot more movement now because athletes are being enticed by either collectives or coaches or whatever the case may be. Like, some schools might say they have more money over here than you get over here. So, there's just a lot of stuff
So
in the
what do
transfer
you
portal.
tell your athletes, I guess, like the ones entering the transfer portal? Like, what do you tell them to look for and things like that? Like, as far as
Lead with your heart.
My question is, my question, you broke down two ways to make money. And that's what I wanted you. NIL, I can come, JJ Foster, I got 20,000 followers. It don't matter what school I go to. I reach out to a company. I'm a brand unto my own.
Right.
The other is, what you talked about, the collectives. Your clientele, what's the balance between them two? Do you have, and what's your biggest client that you have that's not just a self-brand that a university wants them, they throwing some dollars at? What kind of balance you have in that aspect?
So mine is kind of 50-50 because I have the athletes who are up there, and I also have the athletes who are have a smaller following. So pretty much what I do for that smaller following is figure out ways that they can still make money. So it's like, all right, you don't have the 20,000, and then you have the 18,000 people that are engaging. So what can we do to still help you make money? That's when we start talking about ebooks. That's when we start talking about running camps. it's time to start investing into your community. Like, we have to find other ways where you can still make a difference in that community. And that's something that we can do through NIL that you wouldn't have been able to do if NIL wasn't a thing. Now, with the other athletes, the ones who have the bigger following, now it's like, okay, it's time to start tapping into these companies, but it has to be the right company. It has to be the company that fits your values, fits what you like, and fit the type of stuff that you do. Like, I had Diamond Johnson last year who did a interview with I don't know what that place is called. It's like Next America, something like that, Next Gen America. And they did a interview with athletes speaking about what is it? The voting. So giving athletes their voice. Yeah. NIL does that. It gives them the opportunity to speak about things that they really wouldn't speak about, and then they're also in the process getting paid for it.
I want to go with along with JJ's question, not only about the making of money and the following, but you'll hear on ESPN or other commentators that are against the NIL and the transfer portal because they're saying it's like free agency in college, which I don't. If there's not fit, I think they should move on. But one thing is they're saying that more students beyond the NIL are getting agents because it's like free agency in college. Is that a true statement?
I would say yes for the most part, only because, I've had a few athletes reach out to me and they're like, yeah, I'm about to jump into the transfer portal. Can you help me figure out which school is going to give me the most money or something like that? At first I was like, what? That's a thing?
You didn't know that.
That's what we doing?
You could do.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what we doing?
Nice.
Right.
We negotiating scholarship money? Like, okay, cool. Didn't know we were doing that. So, I mean, to your point, like that's what they're doing. Like, people are actually trying to go out and test the waters. See, like, what other schools are going to offer them money or scholarships or NIL, whatever the case may be.
So can the students not do that alone, though? Like, can they not talk and get, how much are you guys offering me? Like, or is that just something they don't want to do, I guess?
I mean, when you sign that national letter of intent, until your name is in that transfer portal, you cannot speak to other schools. Okay. So it would have to be on somebody else to do that.
Sense.
It's either agent or it's Uncle Rick or
What's the young man that was Ohio State? He was telling Ryan Day, "You got to guarantee my son going to be the starting quarterback, or we leaving." I think he transferred to Georgia. Yeah. So
well, I mean, that's one thing. I mean, when you look at college football. I mean, to her point, why would somebody leave? I mean, you got people at perfectly great universities, great situations, but yet they leaving.
They're going.
Why would you say they didn't test the market and somebody, hey, we can make this much over here? They've got positions that are slotted that make so much money.
True.
That's what people don't get. Offensive linemen. I heard somebody the other day, they were talking about how IU was going to struggle in football and you Purdue's, with this mega conference.
Right.
Because they can't afford to pay what a 5-star lineman would get paid somewhere else. I mean, these are legitimate things that are happening with this NIL. And to your point about people that are upset, all the people upset are old school folks that say, hey, it's broke. We ain't getting our money. How these kids get the money?
Right. So, I know Eric Dickerson somewhere talking about that Corvette.
Correct, yeah. Right. The money and the control are with who it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right.
So we know you do some great things in the community. Can you give us some background on some of the things that you got going on or you got plans to do?
For sure. I would say a couple years back, I started a You Can't Stop Me camp for underprivileged kids who were here in Fort Wayne who couldn't get to camps that were like $70, $80, stuff like that. So started that, and then once I got my client Destiny Jackson, who's from the Fort Wayne area, we just switched everything over to her. So now it's the Destiny Jackson camp.
Oh, that's good.
So we're helping her get that camp off the ground and helping her reach, some of the youth that are here in the city as well. Secondly, I do a lot of internships with a lot of high schoolers who are here in the city. We have one that's at Wayne right now, Harrison Brooks, who is also on the Wayne football team. So we tap into a lot of high school athletes for internships as well as college athletes as well, because not even just college athletes, but just college students in general. Because when I was in college, I didn't have that opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't have anybody who was like, I'm an agent. I see you want to do this. Let's see what we got. You know, for me, it was, I had nobody. I got to figure out what's about to happen. We just going to see what happens.
Right.
You know, so I'm trying to be at least that different person who can be out there and help, you know, that next generation.
Which is needed.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is we're doing a Faithful Friday vibes we have going, actually starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much just a Christian club for people who all have a passion for Christian hip hop, Christian R&B, whatever case may be, and want to just connect with like-minded individuals all at once. So
What's the age group on that?
18 plus.
That's good. That sounds interesting.
So that sounds like a great way to get our community back being together in a positive environment.
True.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get some information so we can get that out to the audience. So,
Yes.
I mean, because I know you want new people coming
Yeah.
to be a part of what you're doing.
For sure.
You know, we got to try to get that out. Also with the youth, with your camps and everything. I always love being a part of what you do because you always give back to the community. And when other people was charging, you wasn't.
Yeah.
So let's keep that real. You know, you wasn't charging anybody, and you had some great people come in from the WNBA.
Yeah.
Tamika
Tamika Catchings.
Came and volunteered.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That was great. I mean, and I was there, so I just see some of the beautiful things that you do in our community, and we just need to keep, like Jay say, our beautiful queen her props when she deserve to have them, and I really appreciate it.
And I want to ask, you were talking about interns and giving to the next generation. I've been seeing lately that a lot of young African American females are becoming, or being notarized as sports agents. Is that because I think Jalen Hurts, he has a whole female staff, and Kyrie Irving is his stepmother, but there are a lot of young African American ladies that are in the agency field. Is that an open field now for young African American ladies?
I mean, everything's open. It's still tough. It's still tough to get in. It's yeah.
Okay.
And it's still tough to break those barriers down. But that's why the people that's ahead of us, who's already been doing this, the Nicole Lynn's and stuff like that, they're breaking barriers so that it's easier for that next generation to come in. So it's still a little hard at sometimes, but a lot of them are definitely starting to pick it up and come in.
Answer this: is it an advantage when you're dealing with these college coaches? I know you talked about Dawn Staley and them. I mean, to know that I'm dealing with a female agent, Dawn, can I say, yeah, girl? I'm like, does that help with the relationship on the real?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So it's all about relationship building, and I think I know it's when you build that relationship, it makes it that much easier to talk with not only the athletes but the coaches as well. So yeah, it's definitely a plus.
You're seeing both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
So do you have a lot of problems with the racism in the sports with the male and the white?
That'd be racism and sexism.
Sexism is all together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I have, for sure.
Yeah.
I will say that actually I have two mentors. So Javon Barnes is one of my mentors, but then I also have a white mentor, and his name is Eric Weasel. So he's been helping me out this whole time. He's taking me under his arm, and he's been nothing but nice and really helpful for me. But I will say I've had people say, you can't be in this business, you're too young.
Yeah.
Or you can't be in this business because you're a female. And they're not going to take you serious. So.
Not a black female, that's a female.
I mean.
It go both ways.
Hey, I'm just asking the question.
And she threw ageism in there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's trifecta right there.
Yeah, so it's you get hit with so much stuff, and it's people that have said all three of those things, and I've been like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not gonna stop me. Like
Right.
clearly, I was sitting here to do this for a reason because I knew nothing about this. And
You're doing it.
I tell people this story all the time. Like, I was in prayer and God was like, I want you to go and start your own sports agency, just to help out your community and, build it up. And I was like, yeah, you crazy. You're not talking to me. Like, I don't know nothing about this. Where am I going to go? I don't know which way you want me to go. So I just shook it off. I threw it off. And then I was still at Tech at the time. I think this was like my junior year. And I think I waited 2 more weeks. And then it came back again in prayer. And he was like, if I called you to do this, then you're more than qualified.
Right.
And at that point, I said, okay, God.
Amen.
We just going to do it then. So that was pretty much that. So,
I got a question before we got out of here too, because a lot of times people say when you're moving up and you're doing things to leave Fort Wayne, what's keeping you grounded and based here in Fort Wayne?
this is my home. And because of what I seen and because of what I had to go through, I know that there's going to be somebody else here that doesn't have that. And I would rather them be able to find someone who is doing what they want to do and be able to find that mentor and get that advice and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, you're going to end up going your own route. And mistakes are fine.
Right.
Like, it builds character. It builds your experience, whatever the case may be. But if you just keep failing and nobody's there to pick you up and guide you,
Right.
you're just walking on a narrow road and you don't really know where to go. So it's like, I want to stay here to help the next generation and to also build up the community.
Is that where your leadership comes in, as far as getting people under your wing from high school and whoever else want to be a part of? I think that's a beautiful thing.
But I'll help answer that too. Hey, one of the top agents of all time is from where?
From Fort Wayne, yeah.
And did he ever leave? And
No.
he used to speak to that all the time too, because you're right. People say that all the time. That's funny because me and my brother, we had this talk when people will come up and say, man, we'll keep you in Fort Wayne, as if that's a bad thing.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with Fort Wayne. The last I checked, we do have an airport. You can travel. You can do it,
That's the main thing, right?
And I love what she said. And then the other thing, for you to be a junior and to do your research, the drive and the persistence that you showed in making your dream a fruition. I think all of us been in college. And I can tell you, I had a degree. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't do nary intern. I was worried about hooping, and that was it. Come home for the summer to kick it. I wasn't doing none of that extra. But for you to know what you wanted to do and to continue that drive and utilize the resources,
Right.
I mean, the hat goes off to you. And if
Appreciate
anybody ever asks me about, hey, they need an agent, I'm recommending you.
I appreciate
What I know you could dive into.
Right.
That's the best testimony that you could ever have.
Appreciate
And I got a
it.
question. So, for those people that's like trying to be like women, trying to be agents out there, like what advice could you give them to move forward in that process? Like things that you didn't have that you know now, possibly.
I would definitely say do your research.
Yeah.
Definitely do your research, but if you're really passionate about it, go for it. Like,
Okay.
I've had so many no's. Like, I should be done being an agent right now. But like I said, if I didn't come up with this.
Okay.
Like, I knew nothing about this. So it's like, I've had so many no's. Like, I tell people all the time, you're going to get so many no's. But those couple yeses you get is going to take you so much further.
Okay.
So it's like,
Don't quit.
yeah, you got to do your research. You got to have tough skin because they're going to try to get under your skin, tell you're too young to do this. You're female, you can't do this. You black, you ain't going to do this, So it's like, you got to have that tough skin, but you also got to have that passion. If you ain't got that passion, you'll crumble fast. And you got to have that faith too.
Before we wind it up, what is your future? What's going on as far as what's the next thing for you?
Ooh. Well, I'm working on an ebook right now for NIL, so
Oh, nice.
yes. So
Release date yet or not?
It should be at the end of the month.
Okay, that's coming real soon then.
Yeah, so working on an NIL ebook. It's something else I can't say yet, but
All right.
just know some stuff is cooking.
And this ebook will be like content to help players, right?
Athletes, parents,
Okay, so
all that. Because I've spoken to a lot of people in Fort Wayne. They know nothing about NIL. It's sad.
Look to your left and look to your right.
Yeah.
Right.
They bring up NIL every podcast. And man, come on.
Yeah.
No, not y'all,
No,
but
I'm serious.
Yeah.
He right
I'm
though.
telling you.
Yeah.
That's why we talking about it now.
Yeah.
We've had production meetings. Oh, we were talking NIL. Hey, what are y'all talking about? NIL got to do, So,
Yeah.
no, that's
Yep.
it's just, but yeah, people don't know. Need to be educated.
So that's a good thing you said too, that you do have a lot of communication with the parents of high school and going out, getting ready to go to college. How do that go over with you? Know, 'cause-
I mean, it's good for the most part as long as you built that relationship ahead of time. Then a lot of them are just asking. Like I had a parent when I was at the Northrop Southside game. I had a parent was like, "What's NIL?"
yeah,
And their athletes getting ready to go to college, and it's like,
Okay.
I got you.
yeah.
Like, I got you. And it's like, the thing is, a lot of parents here don't know, and a lot of businesses here don't know, and they're not trying to know. And they just think, like, well, what do I need an athlete to promote stuff for?
Right.
And it's like, you don't know that they got clout.
You're right.
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 So it's like, a lot of us are just closed-minded here in Fort Wayne about NIL.
Yeah.
I want to ask this question. So, do we need to get some kind of class going on, or
We do.
ebook end of the month.
Yeah.
Right. Go get it.
Ebook.
Make sure y'all cop that ebook.
Go get it.
at the end
We'll
of the
promote
month?
her book.
Yeah, we'll promote it.
Yes.
Please let us promote it because that is a big topic. That
Youth sports.
Fort Wayne is missing out on.
Right.
Due to the fact for whatever reason.
Ain't even tapping to the high schoolers getting NIL yet. So
Yeah, because that was another thing. Is that going to get here in Indiana, or is that?
they're thinking about it. It's yellow right now because they're thinking about it. It's not red.
Yeah.
It's yellow because they're thinking
Yeah.
about it.
You know why? Because all that money going on.
Yeah.
They missing out on it.
Yeah.
So-
So we'll see. Alabama's already doing it,
Yeah.
or Florida's already doing it.
Texas.
Georgia's about to hop on it.
Wow.
So
The Texas, they were talking about it in Texas. I don't.
I
know.
think so. Cali's doing it already. So
But one quick thing before you leave, there might be somebody out there, that's looking for an agent that needs. How could somebody find you?
I'm everywhere. No, I mean, you can find me on social media on Instagram. All my handles are pretty much the same. Agent CSJ. So that's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Facebook is Chauntiel Smith Jones. And then my email also is csmith at capturesportsagency.com.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, before we leave, we want to thank you very much for coming on and brightening this show up.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Giving
no
us a
problem.
lot of information. We're going to have to bring you back and,
After that book.
after that book has been the book has been released. And
Maybe
Okay,
during
okay.
signing day of next year, the spring, we'll bring you back when it's signing day in the spring.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just want to say thank you once again for coming out at ONV Respect the Game podcast. May God have a blessing on you. Thank you very much.
Amen.
Respect the game on three. 1, 2, 3, respect the game.